I'm doing a little experiment today. So I'm going to start it on here. And then it says start stream in Chrome. Oh, it already did it in both of them. Chrome and Safari both. It's starting in both. That's a trip. I think I kind of want to close Chrome though. Because I don't want to use all these resources. I don't want it to make it... heck with it. Leave it. There goes Tut-Tuck. He's on his comfy spot. Hi, welcome to my tube. My name's Marge. I'm a Hilka empath. I just like having these little conversations on the way I feel about things. I've had a hard few days, energetically. All this earth, all earth. Whenever there's earth, man, I struggle. I struggle all the time whenever there's a lot of earth energy, because I don't have it in my chart, and I don't have a whole lot of anyway. I don't need to get into that too much, but I've had a hard time, and I'm not sleeping. There's been a couple of few sleepless nights in a row. And woke up the other night. Mom's little dog was going through a walk through the house. I couldn't find her. It was troubling. It was freaking. It sucked. And I was like, bark, sass, she's got a little 17 or 18-year-old dog staggering around the house. It was like 1 o'clock in the morning, and so it's made nighttime suck, because since that happened, so it's like I'm on high alert. That it could happen again, and then a few days last week I woke up extra early because she was she was hungry or thirsty or something. She was barking. I got up to help mom help her settle down, and it was stressful. So I'm not your neurotypical, man. I was like Sheldon. It was funny when I used to watch Big Bang Theory. I felt like I could identify with the character Sheldon on Big Bang, with his quirky. I got a button on my hat that says quirky. On my social media it says I'm quirky. Hey Nate. And I remember being tested for everything when I was young. I was tested for everything because my imagination. But they kept finding it, trying to tie it and attribute it to a problem. Like there's a problem, like there's something wrong with me instead of something right, And so what they did back in the 70s for people like me, they just put you in the dumb kid class and the retard class and just try and keep you in line, and that always bored me. So I barely graduated high school, but I got a 96 on my ASVAB in mechanics. I've always been mechanically inclined, so back then they didn't care about the learning and teaching styles and stuff like that. They just try to group everybody, because most people are the same, but sometimes you get us nacho neurotypicals that come along to try to get people to see that there's a different way to think. There's all kinds of different ways to think. There's all kinds of different ways to teach, to learn. People just keep themselves very limited in scope. I have housekeeping, is that what they call it? Announcements and things like that. I ordered some flowers for a gal, had a birthday on Saturday, and went through. See, I used to do like the FTD stuff. I love flowers. Oh, speaking of, I never freaking showed these on a video. I just changed out the water in them today. If you dump out the old nasty water and keep refilling it with good stuff, they last longer. So I got these last week, and usually when I get them, these are from Bud's Florist here in town. They do such good work. I love them. And so because I love them so much, I know other people like getting flowers too, so sometimes I'll send people flowers, or sometimes just because I got more flowers to send. Now that I think about it. Anyway, so the florist out in Delaware, Kitty's Florist, man, That freaking bouquet, holy heck. The delivery gal, Pat, she called me because she's like, can I leave him on the doorstep? They asked me, and I was like, yeah, go ahead and leave him on the doorstep. Even though I know that, and so she left him on the door. I'll leave him right here. I'll just hang on to him. So the delivery gal said, nobody's here, but I want to let you know that we delivered him, and if you'd like, I could send you a picture so I could see what I got her for her birthday, you know? And oh ma, so beautiful, so beautiful. Anyway, and I was like, hey Pat, do you get tips? I know nobody's there to give you a tip, but how does that work? She's like, oh, we just get paid by the hour. I said, Pat, don't you worry. I said, I'll call back tomorrow. She's like, oh, you got to call back Monday. They're closed tomorrow. Because this was a conversation we had on Saturday. And she goes, and I said, well, I feel like you went a little bit above and beyond by calling me, you know, states away and letting me know that you delivered it, because I didn't know the gal's flowers. I said, so I'm going to go ahead and call on Monday and make sure that you get a tip, because she doesn't get, unless somebody gives them tips, you know, and there was nobody there, so I appreciate that. So I called back the florist, Kitty's florist, and told her, you know, how impressed I was with the flowers. I was going to go ahead and mention them on YouTube, not that anybody watches. You're going to, you know, anybody lives in Delaware, you need flowers ordered from Kitty's. Tell them Not So Large Marge sent you. That's what I want to do, Ma, is I got, my mom instilled in me from the time I was a young age the content of character. Integrity. Yeah. Yeah, you know how people go, you know what integrity is? Doing the right thing when nobody's looking. Well, Mom freaking drilled that into my thick skull when I was a very young girl. And she's taught us life lessons all along the way to instill these as you know. But the thing of it is I have free will, and I have my vibrational frequency within me, and I could choose to do the right thing. Go to the light, as DM says. I could choose, you know, or if I'm living from a place of egocentric, and it's all about me and what I deserve and what I need, and I like how by people like freaking, they just opened a new freaking Tesla fucking warehouse down in Albuquerque or some shit, because like it's such a podunk state, you know. That's what they do, is they give all these big, huge corporate businesses these huge, colossal tax breaks, like they don't have enough to go fly around in fucking space and shit. They give them all these huge tax, but in their states there's homeless people all over the place. I went to the mailbox, the post office this morning, there's a guy just rolled up on the sidewalk in a freaking sleeping bag, crashed out. Right. But all the fucking D-bags with their fucking Teslas, man. My ass will never sit in a fucking Tesla, dude. Elon Musk rat is a freaking evil mofo. Look what they all sacrifice their first son, and then they say it's Sid's, or you know, Eric Clapton, his 2-year-old, fell out of a window. No, he didn't. Y'all sacrifice your first son so you freaking, for your homage to the evil ones. The evil gods that have you freaking live from your ego, and it's all about you and nobody else. It's not that world anymore, man. People, you got piles of money in the bank at this point, and freaking real estate all over the place. You're a freaking hog, dude. You're a pig. You're a selfish, stingy, you know? Those people that freaking went around on the playground with your little bag of Cheetos going, look what I got! Look what I got! You want some Cheetos? Here's a Cheeto. Nope! None for you! Then they grew up and went into fucking government. Same heart space. Same mentality. I'm an empath, man. People say, you don't know people. You can't know people. I can know who a person is just by standing next to them. I can get a lot out of people by listening to them, like their voice. I get more from seeing them and listening to them. I can get the vibe of a person on a video. But mostly, I mean, there's people that I gotta freaking go, that make me want to throw up standing next, because I know what they are. See, because being an energetic sensitive, I think I figured out how to articulate this. I'm going to switch gears a little bit. When you have had, see, I look at energy, you know, like, if you look at a cloud, I should do that. I should take a calendar and equate it to like the heartbeat, you know, the pulse, electric pulses, and show you the peaks and valleys in which are made in society for economic, and they're totally tied into astrology. Because, oh, it's the season of heartstrings. Play the harp for them, folks. Make them feel woeful, because when people are in their feelings and their emotions, they're easier to manipulate and control. As you can see, the last year, I think people mostly want to be controlled. So, some people, they're born, they got a couple parents, their parents love them, their parents take care of them, their parents make sure that they have all their needs are met. They never go without food. They're, you know, they always got the latest and greatest clothes. As soon as they turn 16, they get that new car. You know, never have to worry about insurance until they're like 25. All that stuff, you know. You go off to college, you get a freaking, you either move into dorms with a complete setup, or you move into an apartment or a house, but your parents hook you up, man. I know so many people that's exactly what their experience was. And then there's people like me who wonder what it's like to live in a world of safety and security. What is it like? My whole upbringing was like, maybe we'll eat tonight, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll eat for the rest of the month, maybe we won't. Maybe we'll have electricity, maybe we won't. And with all the crappy stuff that happened to me, man, every time freaking somebody goes through trauma, it's like your electricity system spikes, okay? For all of those of you in the world who've never been through a traumatic event, I'm here to tell you, you're freaking into it. Pew! That's why people have heart attacks. It shorts them out. It's oh so too much. They can't freaking handle it. That's why I meditate every day. That's why I try so hard to stay grounded, because my body and my mind, they get their wires crossed. My body can be in so much physical pain, then my mind keeps going to painful events emotionally. And I'm like, Marge, you're fine. You're okay. And then I always have to constantly reassure my mind that my body's okay, based on feeling energy of the collective. It's exhausting. It's really freaking quite exhausting. And I try to explain this to people, because there's more and more people like me that are coming out. See, I just got a big mouth. I just have always had a big mouth. I got no problem, expressing myself. And when you live in a society where people don't know, they don't got the vocabulary to express themselves. And a lot of people are so disassociated, they don't even know what's causing it. And that's what people like me are here for. Spiritual triage. Did you see that? I want to tell a little story about the thumbnail. The thumbnail? See that big old hole there? This was taken at a bridge, Highway 75 South, just south of Bellevue, Nebraska. Now, I took it in 2016, 15. The stamp date's on there, okay? Now, it stayed like this for so long. Now, if you see above here, this is Highway 75. So you got military members going to, hundreds of them going to Offutt every day. You got people going to Omaha. Thousands of people that are driving over this every day. And if you can see in that, there is no land, there's no dirt in there. There's no dirt in there. See that? There's no dirt. Yeah. So I was talking to a fellow that lives down there, and this is the argument that they had, because the county, which is this in, they were saying that the railroad people need to fix it. And the railroad people are saying, no, you need to fix it. As a result, it stayed like that for a couple years at least. Now what if that? And you can see that's the thing is, I am such a freaking, look at this. At the top, look at that shit concrete job up there. It was cracking and stuff and starting to fall up there, and they just freaking, this is our infrastructure. So all this $1 trillion this is what it's going to go to. But they're all going to America is a marketing scheme is what I've come to find out. It's a marketing scheme. It's just like marketers, they just tell you stuff, and none of it is ever true. I've been asking this question for years. When has the government ever said anything true? I was getting so fired up I just stopped by through the coffee shop this morning on the way to get a bag of ice, and I was like, have you people ever met a city, state, county, or federal employee? Have you ever met them and had a conversation with them? They're pretty freaking vanilla. They're pretty basic human beings. Not necessarily the valedictorians. No. They're the ones that just do what they're told. Just sign the back of your paycheck and do what you're told. Actually, it's all direct deposit now, but so they do. Because they have to. For their families. That's what they say. But they can't fucking stand their families. They can't. I've known a few. They're very they just, they're the sloths of society. They just get paid a lot more money than the people that need it. That's why the people can't get what they need, because the people that are doling it out, it never trickled down, man. So I hate to see it. When people don't start getting what they want, and they don't got a freaking spiritual practice or any kind of balance within them, they're just like, we see it more and more. They're just going to go out and start getting it, taking it. It's already happening, man. We're gonna see a level of lawlessness. It's gonna be wild, and I'm still not going to get a gun. I might get a little. What do you call it? Well, like a BB gun and stuff like that. Maybe freaking shoot the freaking packs of wild dogs that come in my yard. Might do that. I got no problem with that. But I see, that's the thing, is like, if two people can't freaking, have a conversation and either get on the same page or decide to be amicable and part ways, but no, it has to escalate. People have to prove something. Somebody has to be stronger. Somebody has to be tougher. That's all egoic shit. And then you bring guns into it. Then you have some freaking mental midget who doesn't have any kind of emotional control, goes into a freaking blank state because he disassociates and just, because I don't like you. We're gonna get a lot more of that. But everybody, Second Amendment right. Do I have the right to freaking keep my mom house? I don't think so, because I ended up in New Mexico because nobody ripped to me between Oregon and here. So no, let's not talk about rights or inalienable rights and stuff like that, because fucking 9/11 was done to Americans by America. And that fucking scumbag, George Bush, who I flipped off on 9/11, he's in $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 suits now. Dude's a fucking cokehead, man. Thanks, Kim, for drawing to my attention that his granddaughter's name is Poppy. Yep. It's fucking ridiculous, and people really need to start waking up. And I'm getting to the point, I get triggered, man. I gotta be like, okay, say prayers, meditate, or I go out, because this town's full of fucking Teslas now, and people that drive Teslas are fucking retarded. I hope if I saw somebody on Facebook that bought a Tesla, I'd unfriend them. Just out of principle. What people deserve. How much money they spend on shit that you hardly even use. And there's, in northern New Mexico, you got a lot of Texans that fucking feel like they deserve a lot of shit. Their big old fifth wheels. Can't park your fucking truck in a parking lot, but you deserve it. You earned it. You worked so hard by barely doing anything. What, cattle? Killing animals? How many Texans became millionaires by just slaughtering? That's the American way, right? Right? Aromatherapy. So, yesterday, I didn't do a talk. I did think about some things I wanted to talk about. One of the things I wanted to talk about is love. Love is such a funny thing because I don't think there's two people on the planet like snowflakes that have the same definitions of love. Because some people feel like, like I don't know. I'm not going to speak on that. I'm gonna keep it directed towards my frame of reference. I'm not going to speak in generalized terms right now. I have a lot of love to give. I just have always loved. I just know, but I never got it. I was not one. I needed it. I was one of those little kids that needed to be held and needed to be told that it was okay. I was one of those over-emotional children that was afraid of everything with reason. With reason, because I had a lot of scary stuff happen to me, and I still continued to show up in life even though it was scary. And we've always had animals, and Mom and I have always had the same opinion that animals are so much more kind and loving than people are. Because Mom didn't get that a lot either. So we could relate to each other on that, but because she didn't get it, she couldn't give. Because she didn't give it, she couldn't give it. I was different. I learned. I knew that it existed, and if I couldn't get it, I would give it to everything that didn't receive it either. We're conditioned like that. Some of us are programmed like that. We're the people pleasers, man. I can't. When something is suffering, when something is in pain, my body hurts like theirs. When one of my dogs hurt, and they process pain different, but I can feel pain, even though the pain that they feel, it doesn't bother them as much. Mom, we've been dealing with her toe. When she hurts, I hurt. I hate it. So we try to go around and make things. What can I do to make it better? Because just people being uncomfortable makes me uncomfortable. But we don't live in a society where people like me or, that any of that is taken into account. Our society is run by narcissists on purpose. People that don't have feelings, people that don't have emotions, people that can shut themselves down. And I used to be able to do that. They call it military bearing or emotional control or whatever, It's just stuff it. But when you stuff that stuff, that creates an emotional turn to physical dis-ease. It taxes and puts strains on your organ depending on where the emotions are coming from. Causes disease. Disease. Come on, people. Thank goodness for Zach. Zach K. Hubbard and his cancer ass. He's so freaking it's because there's cancer in him, man. Dude, if he took like a couple hours or so just to listen to astrology and apply that to his own chart, I think things would change for him. I really do, because we all know what he could do and what he does because he does it and does it. But if he learns it, it's all we gotta learn about ourselves. That is how. I can handle myself in so many different situations because I know myself. And that's why I didn't go back out and do a video in the park today. I opted to come home, and it was a beautiful thing. I'm like, man, I just don't feel like. I stopped by the coffee shop for like a half hour, and it was the other one because the coffee spot's been closed. When the cook is closed, there's only one guy to cook, so they close the whole coffee shop. Anyway, so, what was I saying? My train of thought. I didn't want to be out, and I didn't want to really be around anybody, But I still do it because I don't want to get my stuck. Like, when I stay home for 2, 3, 4 days, I start getting like a stuck feeling. So I just go out just to freaking break the monotony. And so when I went out, I don't like this song. I don't feel like... I'm having a hard time with music, too, and it fucking breaks my heart, dude, because I love music so much. But then whenever I see it, you can't close your eyes after they've been open, man. After you freaking realize all the symbolism and all that stuff, you can't. And it's just like... But my saving grace, and the only reason why I haven't freaking quit all the way together is because I am a child of God. Holy Spirit. And regardless of what these people do and choose to sign their freaking name and soul in whatever, away to, it's their choice. I'm a person of God. So, whatever, therefore, it doesn't matter. I'll see what I can do to bring the light. So, I still don't remember what I was going to say after the coffee shop. Oh, but then I came home. God, see, universe is so good, man. Universe is so good because we get ways of verification. I'm always getting little verification. Like, I got this, but are you still here? Jessica? I don't know if you're still here or not. Look at this flower. I hope this doesn't get me in trouble. It's just a flower. That's all that it is. Oh, is it? 163 military berry? So look at that flower. So on my flower, I go out and spend time with my flowers, because if you talk to your flowers, they grow better. I learned that. Didn't anybody ever grow a bean in kindergarten or first grade? If you talk to, and every day I'm just always that weird kid that gets so excited about everything. Unless, hey, that's not right. That's not fair. Huh. And then, here we go. Hey, okay, hey. So, there was a praying mantis on my flower the other day. But it was inside and I couldn't get a very good picture of it. But this one today, I go out there and I see this thing flying. Isn't she pretty? She was posing for me. Look, she's making eyes. She's making eyes at me. So whenever I see something that I don't see every day, because I don't see praying mantis every day, even though my homie, he went up to did the sweat, he was invited to a sweat ceremony in Lakota, I believe. That is, see, I never get it. I'm a Heyoka without a tribe. See, because there are so many people that say Heyoka, they're only men. Yeah. And so people, when I say Heyoka, they'll just like, yeah, they smile. But in their mind, Heyoka only men, this ain't a Heyoka. But it was something that my ex-girlfriend sent me a message and said, this sounds like you. It wasn't even me, my finding. I always have known who I am based on the content of my character and how I behaved and how I blow people's minds all the time by living in my integrity. And so, I'm switching, hold on. So universe always gives us keys and codes and stuff like that, right? So the way I've been feeling like I don't feel good. And then I see the praying mantis, and then I look it up. Praying mantis symbolism, and it says, overwhelmingly in most cultures, the mantis is a symbol of stillness. As such, she is an ambassador from the kingdom, giving testimony to the benefits of meditation and calming our minds. An appearance from the mantis is a message to be still, go within, meditate, get quiet, and reach a place of calm. And that's what I've been working on all day. And I feel better now. I do. I feel better. I always feel better coming on and just connecting. Just one human spirit connecting to another human spirit. I think about like those airplane maps where they have the different routes all over the U.S. like in Sky Mall or whatever. Well, I picture that for every spirit energy field that ever connected with in my life. And not only in my life, you know, but people that I've connected to. It's just a network of spiritual likeness. But there's so many people in this realm that have ignored and forgotten that they do, in fact, you are in fact a spirit having a human experience first and foremost. And matter doesn't die, and you will rectify after you die what you do in this incarnate. Some people think that people come back and live the same life over and over. I think everybody we come across, we are the. I just think it's all shared consciousness. So I have been the freaking D-bag in a huge truck with the freaking, you know, inferiority complex with this tiny wiener, overcompensating, womanizing, just, you know, looking for all the penis pockets I can find. I've been that in different incarnates. And you know what happened in this one? I'm not going to mention it. Comes back to you. Screw people over, you get screwed over. And it doesn't discriminate by age either. No, it does not. So, oh my goodness, everybody needs flowers in their life. And then driving through, I'm so blessed to have been delivered, you know. So whenever you hear me say, nobody would have written to me between here, you know, also know at the same time, someplace in my mind, I also know congruently that God has divinely gifted us this place and where we are. Because I am healing. I am healing. You know? And I understand that love heals all, but it's not my time for that yet. It's not. I know that when God wants me to have my same freak drive, and when I say freak, I mean frequency. Because I ain't a freak. I ain't a perv, man. I ain't into chasing sensations, man. Growing up in health class, you know, why would they teach that? It's about the percentage of how often the frequency that men think of sex. Well, maybe if they were taught to think about other things, you know, the sensation chasing wouldn't be the predominant freaking educational focus or aim. Yeah. I love them. So anyway, but driving through just to the coffee shop and stuff like that, it's all, I take all these pictures and then I bring them home and show mom, so mom can go to the coffee shop with me. So just driving through the countryside, you know. Here's some wild flowers that I was gonna paint this because a fence fell down, and then this was growing up. I was gonna see if I could paint that. You know, might as well get a freaking handle on that Native American art freaking that everybody around here freaking benefits from so much, profits from. Oh, here's the gal that made the flower, the bouquet. I got a picture of her. Butts Flowers here in town. See, I took out all the baby's breath because I didn't want Stanley to eat it. Yeah. So, anyway. Be good to people and people will be good to you, but that's the thing is that's not always the case, so you got to be careful, man. And I got to remind myself also in this time, in this day and age of trying to find people like me, man, there's a lot of fakes and phonies. Here's the top one, Jess. It's just a flower, folks. Pacific City, Oregon. Hang up. I don't want to talk to nobody. Or, you know, I proactively started calling them in December, and I never got my W-2 from them last year from the state of Oregon. Never got my W-2. How many people moved to New Mexico? No, I guess it ended up someplace in Texas or some shit, but they couldn't quite figure it out, so what can you do? All you can do is freaking get people to do what they're supposed to do, but doesn't mean they're going to do it, even though they get paid probably about $3,000 a month. That's about what they make. All you got to do is go to your local city, county, state. You can see it and go and look for, you know, underemployment. You can see how much they make. I did videos freaking 3 years ago. The public defenders in Redding were making $8,000 a month, and there's homeless fucking people everywhere. Yeah, my brother works in the legal system in California. I know what punk ass bitches they are. It's just a flower. So, anyway. I like growing all kinds of flowers. And once we get our travel center, that's what I want to do, is I want to make a travel center where people can come and visit. Don't bring your fucking Tesla. I ain't going to let it on my property. Or your Audi. Actually, if you make if you make over $1 million a year, they're probably not going to want to come to my travel center anyway. So I want to have a travel center and then have a garden. A nice little community garden where everybody can benefit. See, we're supposed to be moving into a planet where inclusion is for everyone. But I keep seeing paid membership required. Even with the spiritual list, even in the spiritual community, $500 for a 30-minute reading and stuff like that. That is not the spirit in God in you that you were freaking. No, that is the spirit of fucking overhead. People have these exorbitant egos and then think that they are worth so much. But the reality of it is, if things get really bad and poles flip and, we go back to frickin', Ice Age and all that stuff, technology's not going to matter. What are you going to bring to the table? I could still make my can of cookies over an open stove in a pot. I could do that rustically. I can still fix stuff. What do people have to bring to the table? And that's why I think there's so many people in fear going, man, if I do lose my job, I don't know what the fuck I'm going to do because I'm not smart enough to do anything else. And I don't know anybody else that works in a place that's going to hire me that could just get me in there without really even interviewing and stuff like that. Because nepotism, that's another freaking nail in the coffin of this freaking civilization. Once was the USA. It's not, dude. This country is not. It's fallen. It's just now we're just seeing the last. It's building 7. It's building 7. The falling of the American civilization. We're watching it, folks. We're watching it in live and real color. You know what they're doing out there? All this political posturing and stuff is what my brother calls it. It's theatrics, dude. Washington, D.C., it's just like Hollywood. If it wasn't, we never would have had a president that was an actor. 2. Had a few. They're all actors, dude. It's all staged. Elections, that is to make you feel better, but it's already decided. It's always already decided. And it's a circle of greed. All they do. This is what governments are made to do. This is what they're supposed to do. Just like in the example of my thumbnail. They say, we want it this way. Write it on it. Have our terms, our demands. And both sides are terrorists. And terrorists don't they don't listen to terror. They're not going to give in to that's what they tell you in the military. Never give in to a terrorist demand. Never give them what they want, right? So you got the R's or the Dems or, whatever, the circle agrees. But you got these guys saying, okay, this is what we want. And then they push it across the table and the other side picks it up and says, no, this is what we want. And they never accomplish anything, but they pay them. They're millionaires, dude. Millionaires. Gazillionaire. More money than they could ever. More money than their stupid little bratty kids or their dumb little fucking grandkids could ever spend in a lifetime. They're paid actors. People figure, and they're bad at it too. A lot of them are drunks. I don't think Biden's freaking. I don't think he's got dementia. I just think he's been a fucking cokehead drunk for so long that he's got wet brain. Anybody know a drunk that's ever been a wet brain? Pisses. Not even they can't sustain themselves without the alcohol. I'm not talking about the casual drinker, people like getting, dumb and numb every now and again. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the people that can't function in life unless they have alcohol in their system because alcohol has removed their spirit. And now they're just they're pickled, man. Literally pickled. People are pickled. That's why that guy's freaking done so much weird stuff. He didn't even know he's done it. His brain's gone. Do you think he really looks at it like he killed his wife and his daughter And his son, his son died at 46 to have cancer. Yeah, sure. His firstborn. What number president is he? 46? Really, people? So stupid. There's no such thing as a coincidence. Now, if people freaking pulled out a book and, like Carl Jung, Gustav Jung, maybe he'll teach somebody something, a thing or two. I don't know. Has he yet? He taught me a thing or two. I know a thing or two. So today I'm going to choose to live from spirit and not some ego. I know I talk a lot of trash. I've seen a lot of trash, and I speak from personal experience. I don't just make up shit, just talk about stuff I don't know anything about. It's all a game, and I share from my perspective. Military-industrial complex. There were no Westerns. I mean, come on, man. But people just feel better just living in their because they don't want to think that they live in a world. So many people are not on my watch, where all this stuff is happening on your watch. So I'm curious as how bad it's gonna get, because I got an idea how bad it could get, or how good things could get. Because people could do a 180. Everybody always has free will, man. Every situation I do, like even when I go to the grocery store, I'm constantly freaking vigilant to see that I'm not blocking somebody. Because I struggle with dichotomy, and it's hard for me to make choices because they're not always just for me. Because I got to think about so I'm like, okay, this, that, so it takes me a while. But if somebody's behind me, I'll step out of the way. How many, I have to tell myself remind myself to soak my own feet, because every day I'm on a schedule of soaking mom's. But it could benefit me too. Yeah. I don't always take care of myself because I'm busy taking care of other things. We live in a society where there's too many people taking care of themselves. They don't think about anything else, and that's where it needs to flip. I think that's the polarity. When I talk polarity, oftentimes when I talk about pole flips in my mind, I'm talking about the polarity, the negative and the positive within the individual that has the capacity to flip too. But people have free will, and they got to step out of their fear, which is hard in and of itself to get people to step out of their fear. Because how many people don't have anything to believe in outside themselves is bigger than them, to tell them, like I tell myself all the time, that everything's okay. Everything's okay. And I always have opportunity, because people around me are always going through something, so I have opportunity to share with them that I believe that everything's going to be okay. And if they don't have faith, that I got plenty and they can borrow mine. And there are those days too that my faith wavers. I don't have the faith that I should. And that's when I tune in and I listen to other people who have faith that's bigger than mine. And I borrow theirs. That's how it works.